Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to continue reading another book from the same author that we read the other night, who is Kevin Henkes, the author and the illustrator. Today's book that we're going to be reading is called Wemberly Worried, and this book is really about a little mouse that you see here who is always worried. She's worried about big things and she's worried about the little things. And I have a lot of connection to her as a character because sometimes I feel that I worry too much. And we have to figure out what works for us when it comes to not feeling so worried, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started. Wemberly Worried by Kevin Henkes. Wemberly worried about everything. Big things, little things, and things in between. I wanted to make sure you were still there, as she's checking up on her parents. Mama, what if I shrink? While she's in the bathtub. Wemberly worried in the morning, she worried at night, and she worried throughout the day. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. Too much worry. And to feel worried is when you constantly think about something or you're constantly asking questions because you don't know what's going to happen. At home, Wemberly worried about the tree in the front yard. What if it falls on our house? And the crack in the living room wall. What if it gets bigger and something comes out of it? And the noise the radiators made. What if there's a snake inside? Have you ever felt that way? Where something made you worry and you ask questions? At the playground, Wemberly worried about the chains on the swings and the bolts on the slide and the bars on the jungle gym. Too rusty, too loose, too high. And always she worried about her doll, Petal. Shouldn't Petal have a car seat too? I found her, sweetie. Petal's lost forever. I'll wait for you, Petal. And there you can see that she's constantly worried. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. Sometimes I feel that way, that when people tell me, oh, don't worry, it still makes me feel worried, right? And that's okay. That's okay if you still feel worried. When Wemberly was especially worried, she rubbed Petal's ears. Wemberly worried that if she didn't stop worrying, Petal would have no ears left at all. Do you find that when you get worried or you get nervous or anxious about something, you maybe start to do the same thing over and over again? Like, for example, when I get worried or I'm feeling a little bit anxious, I rub and pet my dogs until I feel calm. On her birthday, Wemberly worried that no one would come to her party. See, said her mother, there was nothing to worry about. But then Wemberly worried that there wouldn't be enough cake. This is the best present ever. I wish I had my birthday today. On Halloween, Wemberly worried that there would be too many butterflies in the neighborhood parade. See, said her father, there was nothing to worry about. But then Wemberly worried because she was the only one. Oh, man. So she worried she was going to be the only butterfly. And when she wasn't the only she was worried that there were going to be too many butterflies, but then she was the only butterfly, and then she started worrying. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. Too much worry. Soon Wemberly had a new worry, school. Wemberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had ever worried about before. And that makes me think about right now, right? A lot of us aren't sure when we're going to come back to school and when we're going to be able to go back into our classrooms. And so that might have a lot of us worried, right? By the time the first day arrived, Wemberly had a long list of worries. What if no one else has spots? What if no one else wears stripes? What if no one else brings a doll? What if the teacher is mean? What if the room smells bad? What if they make fun of my name? What if I can't find the bathroom? What if I hate the snack? What if I have to cry? And sometimes my brain starts to feel like that where there's so many things going on. Have you ever felt that way when there was maybe too many things going on and your mind kind of feels like it's in a jumble? Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. She worried all the way there. While Wemberly's parents talked to the teacher, Miss Peachum, Wemberly looked around the room. Then Miss Peachum said, Wemberly, there's someone I think you should meet. Her name was Jewel. She was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes. She was holding a doll. Wait, weren't those some of the questions that she had? What if no one else brings a doll? What if no one else wears stripes? Do you think that she has found someone like her? At first, Wemberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. This is Petal, said Wemberly. This is Niblet, said Jewel. Petal waved, Niblet waved back. Hi, said Petal. Hi, said Niblet. I rub her ears, said Wemberly. I rub her nose, said Jewel. Throughout the morning, Wemberly and Jewel sat side by side and played together whenever they could. Petal and Niblet sat side by side too. Wemberly worried, but no more than usual, and sometimes even less. Before Wemberly knew it, it was time to go home. What do you think is making her worry not so much? Come back tomorrow, called Miss Peachum, and all the students walked out the door. Wemberly turned and smiled and waved. I will, she said. Don't worry. So now she's telling the teacher not to worry. And look at that. So what do you think in the end made Wemberly not worry so much? Has that ever happened to you where you might have all these ideas of how something's going to go and you get there and actually it's quite fun, right? So thank you so much for joining me on another night of reading a book by Kevin Henkes, and we will continue to read all this week other books by him as well. Thank you so much for joining me and I hope you have a good night.